Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. We've known that you can't really trust a lot of these major corporations for quite a while. A lot of the time, the kind of stuff, BS nonsense that they put out there, a lot of the time is just a bunch of marketing. And even there's some cases out there that they're absolutely flat out lying through their teeth, and in some cases, literally lying to their own investors. And Ubisoft is one of those out there, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, the company that was responsible for such an incredible franchise as Assassin's Creed and so many others out there, their latest installment in that said franchise, Assassin's Creed Shadows, is getting absolutely destroyed on the internet as being an absolute abomination and a complete and total disrespect to Japan, its culture, and its history. And at the end of the day, the fans are the ones who make all of the decisions. They're the ones that pay the bills, and they are not very happy with this at all. And it turns out we now have proof that Ubisoft is absolutely lying through their teeth about the actual reception that's going on out there in the world, because a new company has done their own little analysis out there proving the fact that Assassin's Creed Shadows is universally hated by almost absolutely everyone out there. It is going to fail miserably, and I cannot wait to see the numbers come out when this game finally launches. And boys and girls, that's exactly what we're going to talk about right here, because we've got this wonderful article over here from That Part Place giving us all of the juicy details of exactly how much this game is going to fail based just on the critical reception so far. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, because boys and girls, we are grinding, we are growing, and we are inching our way closer and closer to 1,200, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below whether or not you're one of those that's out there that love the Assassin's Creed franchise and you're absolutely disappointed in what Ubisoft has currently done, or if you're actually interested in the game and you're one of those few out there who think something positive of this game might actually come out of it. Let me know what you think about all that in the comments section down below. New player sentiment analysis contradicts Ubisoft's claim that Assassin's Creed Shadow has positive community sentiment. Shout out to our dear sweet John F. Trent. A new player sentiment analysis conducted by Player XP contradicts Ubisoft's claim that Assassin's Creed Shadow has positive community sentiment, because of course this is what they tried fluffing to all of their wonderful board and all of their investors at their investors call out there, because of course that's what they wanted to try to push this so their stock doesn't completely and totally tank, even though there's all this massive amount of very obvious backlash on the social media because of this game. During the company's Q1 sales conference in July, an investor from HBC asked about how pre-orders for both Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows compared to previous Ubisoft releases. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot responded, "We don't disclose nor comment on pre-orders usually. What we can say is what we've been observing and measuring is that our two big titles are actually among the most awaited games of the industry, and they enjoy a very strong positive community sentiment overall." Now, any one of us that's been paying attention for longer than 5 seconds completely and totally realizes this is total BS and total nonsense, concerning the fact that the trailer gets ratioed, concerning the fact that all of the comments are just absolutely blasting it. Every new article is something bashing at this. You've got all the issues going on with Japan and everything else. Like, literally, we know this is absolute nonsense BS. We even saw how they tried to display this at a Japan Expo, and literally no one was showing up for it, and nobody cares about this game. However, Player XP's community sentiment report for Assassin's Creed Shadows disputes this claim. The company found that the overall sentiment calculated, which represents the voice of the players, is a negative 13. It's not just a low positive score. No, it's an absolute all-around negative 13 overall. This is abysmally bad. This is not what you want for a game that your studios are absolutely depending to keep them afloat. This is going to cost Ubisoft hundreds of millions of dollars. It's going to be a disastrous dumpster fire, and it's going to be the chef kiss of exactly what they deserve. So, breaking down player sentiment by social media platform, it had a negative 14 rating on YouTube. Obviously, the ratios, we've seen that over and over again, where the majority of interactions came from a negative 7 rating on X and a positive 2 rating on TikTok. Because, of course, the only place it could find a positive rating was on TikTok, of all places. Literally the cesspool of the agenda of the acolytes of the cult, driving this nonsense farther and farther into our culture as much as they possibly can, of course. And even then, it's only a positive score of 2, boys and girls, and a negative 55 a negative 55 rating on Facebook. I'll bet it only factored in 105 interactions. So very few people actually talking about it on Facebook. Because I mean, like, legitimately, who outside of like your grandma is still actually actively on Facebook? But hey, what can I say? My wife actually does. So who knows? She likes the videos on there. But at the end of the day, holy cow. Holy cow. But it gets worse. Furthermore, the analysis detailed many of the biggest talking points and keywords have negative sentiments, including Japan, Ubisoft, Yasuki, and history. Player XP noted, these all have significant negative sentiments associated with the historical element being the most negative at negative 45. Color a shock there. Their complete and total erasure and rewriting of Japan's actual good cultural heritage and history they have out there didn't go over very well with history fans out there. Color us shocked. This has been driven by players expressing concerns about historical accuracy and cultural depictions. Yep. It added, additionally, the character Yasuki has received a negative sentiment score of negative 17 from the player community, aligning with the themes. Players have highlighted inaccuracies related to this character. Inaccuracies? How about a complete and total rewriting of this character's actual legitimate history and place in the world, which deserves to be known, deserves to be remembered, and deserves to be honored in a truthful way. But instead, of course, Ubisoft, just like so many of the rest of them, decides out there to cherry pick some nonsense, and because it fits with their agenda and they can shove all this nonsense forward. I mean, seriously, a black protagonist for a game based in Japan. I wonder why people aren't happy about it. It's worth noting the Ubisoft player community is highly engaged in a record number of interactions in a short date range, and talking points around excitement of the new launch drove positive sentiment plus 34. Later in the report, XP detailed one of the primary areas of negative sentiment merged around the monetization category. Notably, the monetization topic is a reoccurring source of dissatisfaction and is seen in the community reaction to both Assassin's Creed Shadows and Star Wars Outlaws. Neither one are getting done well. Obviously, we know that like Star Wars Outlaws, for like the top tier, in order to get all the missions, you have to pay $120 for a game that's probably going to be broken and buggy on the day of launch. Yeah, and it looks like absolute trash. Yeah, no, we're good. The player community has voiced frustrations over Ubisoft's perceived prioritization of monetization strategies over player experience. Oh, color us shocked there. A sentiment that is influencing the reception of Assassin's Creed Shadows. The consistent negative feedback regarding monetization strategies suggests the players feel unheard, affecting their overall trust in Ubisoft. And color us shocked there. Is there any portion of the audience or the consumer world out there that exists for video games or movies or television or any of this kind of stuff that does not feel unheard at this point? Of course, this is how people are looking, and of course, it's going to cause them to not trust your corporation anymore. That's what you get after pulling this kind of nonsense. It's highly likely that Ubisoft already knows that player sentiment around the game is negative, as Nick Dempsey from Barclays specifically asked Guillemot during the investors call. When you talk about Assassin's Creed being the most ambitious, are you hoping for it to be the best-selling Assassin's Creed game? At this time, we can say that Assassin's Creed to be among the high sellers of the company so far. Clearly, that means Ubisoft does not expect to be the best-selling Assassin's Creed game to date, and it's not going to be whatsoever. Eurogamer reported that in February 2022 that Assassin's Creed Valhalla earned more than $1 billion in revenue by itself, and there is no way in hell Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to even come close to this. With all the controversy surrounding this game, with all of the major issues that have already been formed, with Ubisoft's already bad track record they are starting to gain and garner more and more, Assassin's Creed Shadow is going to be a disastrous dumpster fire. And guess what? No matter how much Ubisoft's CEO wants to try to lie to its investors and try to tell everybody that it's all going to be okay, that everybody's super excited about this game, that it's going to be great, yada, 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 we all know the truth. We can read the room and we see the giant elephant that is currently in the room for Assassin's Creed Shadows, and it's Yasuki and the disrespect to Japanese heritage and culture. And guess what? This game is going to fail miserably, and no matter what kind of BS nonsense you're going to try to float to your investors, your stock will end up suffering drastically for this. And boys and girls, I cannot wait to see it, because Ubisoft, you have done it to itself. You didn't respect Japan, you didn't respect the character of Yasuki, and you sure as hell didn't respect the customer. And at the end of the day, all of that ends up being one simple thing. You decide to go woke, you're gonna go broke. After all, you did it to yourselves, and you're gonna get exactly what you deserve. Assassin's Creed Shadows, enjoy losing hundreds of millions of dollars. It's gonna be hilarious to watch.